The Chinese helicopters near the Taiwan Strait ahead of the military drills is what were in fact witnessed, and also what is happening in Taiwan Strait is likely to have a lot of implications for the security apparatus of this region in the weeks to come. Meanwhile, the Association of the Southeast Asian Nations is currently holding a series of meetings in Cambodia with foreign ministers of member nations and also its allies as a part of its annual meetings. Now, the ASEAN nations have unanimously expressed concerns over the growing standoff that's presently taking place at the Taiwan Strait. The group has also warned that Taiwan could in fact spark other conflicts as China is prepared to launch huge military drills off the coast of the island. The ministers from the 10 member nations of the ASEAN said that the situation could actually destabilize the entire region and eventually could lead to a miscalculation, which could end up causing serious confrontations and perhaps even open conflicts. Now, the meeting comes forth and will be on the Code of Conduct for the South China Sea. The military conflict in Myanmar and also East Timor's admission to the bloc are some of the aspects that will be discussed by the foreign ministers of the ASEAN nations. Now, ASEAN's concerns over Taiwan and regional security comes after the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's arrival in Cambodia. The Chinese leader met with his counterparts amidst possibilities of talks or regional security. The 10-member ASEAN bloc stands divided over China, as its allies have sided with Beijing, while others are extremely wary of the growing international assertiveness that's being exhibited by Beijing.
The past 6 months, China and ASEAN have made encouraging progress in various areas. Our all-round strategic partnership has had a strong and good start. We safeguarded the peaceful oasis faced with the volatile international security situation. We have enhanced strategic communication, worked hand in hand to overcome various external challenges, jointly maintained the hard-earned peace and stability of the region.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Cambodia as well to participate in the ASEAN summit. Blinken has no plans to meet with the Chinese or his Russian counterparts. However, on the sidelines of the ASEAN meeting, Antony Blinken met with the Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar.
So many different ways. Taking part in the ASEAN meetings is the opportunity it also affords to get together and compare notes with our closest partners, starting with my longtime friend, Indian Foreign Minister Jaishankar. So this is an opportunity for us to compare notes as we head into these very important ASEAN meetings. We're both strong proponents of ASEAN centrality. We have a shared vision together for a free and open Indo-Pacific that we work on in so many different ways. Every single day, and of course we have some immediate challenges that we're both concerned with, to include the situation in Sri Lanka, Burma, and a number of other hotspots. So I very much look forward to once again being able to go through a number of these issues with my friend, and then we'll both head over to our meetings.
Well, thank you, and let me reciprocate your sentiment. I think it's always good to meet. There's a lot that we need to talk about, and it's actually been a very busy year. We had a very good Quad.
Now, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations includes the 10 members that are Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Myanmar, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam. This time, 10 other nations are also attending this summit, and dialogue partners among them includes the likes of Australia, Japan, India and South Korea. And also, WION's principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibil is tracking the story very closely for us, and he's joining us in this broadcast. Now, Siddhant, this of course is an important meeting that is presently underway in Cambodia. The foreign ministers of the ASEAN members are in fact meeting there, but the focus is what is unfolding in the Taiwan Strait. Tell us more in terms of how ASEAN is looking at the tensions that are unfolding in relation with Taiwan.
Well, Mohammed, it has been a 3-day hectic summit, which is in fact underway, and it will conclude on Friday. And today we saw the ASEAN coming up with that statement which you have mentioned, warning about miscalculation, because of course ASEAN is worried about the impact of the ongoing tensions created, of course, by China because of the drills in the aftermath of Nancy Pelosi's visit. The geographical proximity, there are bound to be natural anxieties among ASEAN member countries. Now, we know that Foreign Minister of China is also present, and today is the day when ASEAN and the other countries have their foreign ministers meeting, like India and ASEAN foreign ministers meeting is due to start. Same with China, Russia, Australia, New Zealand. So, of course, when it comes to China, when ASEAN foreign ministers and Chinese foreign ministers sit together, this is something that is bound to be discussed. Remember yesterday, the Cambodian Prime Minister, when he gave his address at the beginning of the foreign ministers meeting, he mentioned about the South China Sea issue, and by that time it was clear that there will be a fallout of Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. So undoubtedly, when tomorrow the joint statement, the press conference happens, there will be a lot of mention of the situation in Taiwan, the Chinese aggressive actions, and of course its fallout in the region and beyond the region.
Absolutely indeed. And also, Siddhant, what is interesting is that the American Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, is also in Cambodia. Is a meeting likely to happen between him and the Chinese foreign minister?
Well, the agenda which has been listed out by the U.S. Department, the State Department does not mention about any meeting between the Chinese and the American foreign ministers. Of course, there was a meeting between the Indian and the American foreign ministers. In fact, that was the first bilateral the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken had with any of his counterpart in Cambodia. But nonetheless, even if there are no talks, there will be, of course, some kind of conversation, it looks like, in next coming weeks to diffuse the situation. We know the conversation that happened last week between the U.S. President Joe Biden and the Chinese President Xi Jinping. But that talk, almost 2 hours long conversation, was all about China threatening and saying, do not play with fire. But despite, of course, China's warnings, the visit happened. And now it looks like China will be trying to prove itself on the ground that it's not a paper dragon.
All right, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Siddhant Sibil, for joining us and getting us all those insights. We'll, of course, come back to you as more details emerge of the story that is unfolding in Cambodia with respect to the foreign ministers' meeting for the ASEAN. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.